Hi, lovies. This is Christina with Karma's Eye Psychic LLC here on Universal Spirit Podcast. We are going to go on another rant, another zodiac rant, and I decided we're going to talk about water signs, Pisces, Scorpio, and Cancer. Just some, you know, stereotypes, folklore, experiences, and, thoughts, assumptions, and all that yada that comes with the sign of Scorpio, Pisces, and Cancer. So, water signs, let's just get into it, are known to be very emotional. And they're very emotional on different scales, right? For all of us who want to stereotype cancers as being very emotional when it comes to crying and being empathetic, and being very caring and nurturing, this is, to be seen as weak, but actually, cancers happen to be very strong people. They're very strong friends. They're very strong parents. They're very strong support systems, and they're very emotionally strong, especially when it comes to long-term situations. Cancers can definitely be a wonderful support to you if you might be going through something emotionally that you might not be able to handle or even explain. Sometimes Cancer can explain their own emotions, but they do know how to be there for other people. It might not be mathematical, it might not be direct, or an educated guess, so to speak, but they can definitely sense a solution for anyone involved, especially if they felt those feelings before. Moving on to Pisces. Pisces is kind of both up and down. There is a very definitive wall between Pisces and their anger, and also and their emotions when they are feeling empathetic, because Pisces are known to be very intuitive. They can sense that people are going to do something or how a situation is going to turn. This is, like I said, the stereotypes, experience, and some assumptions as well, based on some astrological facts, of course. But Pisces would be considered like a Scorpio and a Cancer mixed together. They have both like that, empathetic love, soft love, also with that tough love. Their instincts and their intuition are the same, just as much as them wanting to play by the rules, but at the same time they understand a rebel. They understand breaking rules. They can know without knowing. They can do without planning so well. They seem to get by very well. They have good intuition, and they just have really good reading people skills, and understanding things on a deeper level. They seem to know the boundaries of things that they can and cannot fix, and things that they can and cannot control. Would be on the flip side of Cancer, seeing something go downhill or a person having, an emotional eruption. It's like they feel as though they are the only ones that can fix them. One thing that I can't deny is that Cancers know how to weather the storm between a bad mood, and a bad attitude, and understand the difference, that a bad mood can be changed. It can, it'll roll over or mull over. Others, rather than a bad attitude, is very, much long term. The best part about Cancers in detecting this in other people, they also can detect it in themselves. When they realize they have a bad attitude towards something, they do work very hard to change it, to have a better attitude with things. But when people have little tiffs and mood swings and stuff like that, Cancers tend to blow it off and say, hey, he'll calm down, or that's normal and that's the process, rather than taking it so personally, which would be the Pisces, taking those kinds of outbursts and backlashes pretty personal, mostly because Pisces does go under the assumption that they may know you better than you know yourself, and they most likely probably didn't see the mood swing coming, and it's kind of offensive to them to have to deal with such negativity that they just weren't ready for, because they're usually ready for everything, but when it's not, in the cards or in the plans, it does kind of, throw them off their rhythm a bit. So then I will come to Scorpio. This is a very, very bastardized sign where people assume that everything evil and everything negative about this sign is true, and people tend to overlook the passion of Scorpio to be a very positive, very motivating, very uplifting thing, something that most signs do not harness the emotions and the passion and the fire. People would almost mistake Scorpio for a fire sign, because they go in so wholeheartedly with anything that they want to do, something that they believe in. They really have more than just passion. It's also motivation. They are very calculated. They're very patient. And their main goal is their main motivation. There are side trips and side thoughts and little things to them. However, there is always the main goal that is in the forefront, which causes Scorpio to be extremely obsessive. And possessive. Everyone knows that, stereotype of Scorpio, because they hold on to their own passions, and they do feel anything that is part of their plan is so very important. They don't want to let it go. They don't want to let go even the method to creating or manifesting what it is that they need or want. They want to hold on to it. They know it has value. Okay, so Scorpio, let's talk about the good things, that they see value in things where it would cause them to be, jealous, sometimes violent, vile, malicious, and just outright, mean. It's really the passion behind it, because they possess and just really, really deeply want something. This has a lot to do with the way they love people. To have a Scorpio love you is a privilege. Okay, so for them to love you so much, they are putting out everything. They're putting out everything. Their physical, their mental, their emotional. They're putting everything on the line every second for you. They really do not want to ever have to feel, loss, betrayal, boredom, or any of those things that would cause them any type of pain when you are this, on this pedestal for their heart. Anything on their pedestal has to keep them happy at all times. Scorpio can feel the blow of something, personally, if it's misunderstood by them. If you are having a mood swing, Scorpio doesn't see it that way some of the time. It is kind of a hit or miss with Scorpio. They can take it very personally, and you could probably never hear from them ever again. And they can passionately ignore you, and passionately wipe you out of their lives. Or if they don't take it personally, they're going to be very motivated to make sure that you get help, or that you and they work through whatever is causing the situation, to eliminate the situation. And Scorpios go very extreme when it comes to eliminating things and creating things. So understand that passion can be such a great, asset as much as your worst enemy sometimes. Pisces and Cancer love the same way too. Don't get me wrong. They are very deep lovers. Trust me. You are always going to be in their heart until the very end. However, they probably won't go all out visually, or obviously the way a Scorpio will. A Scorpio will bring you gold and flowers and chocolates, and a Pisces will make sure they keep telling you that they love you. A Cancer will make sure that they're there to listen to you whenever you're off or whatever, or having an issue. They want to be there for you. Pisces and Cancer want to definitely be there for you. Scorpio will be there for you in ways that you won't even know about. Like they'll do something to your enemy and come back and say, hey, everything's going to be fine. You can stop crying now because I totally buried them and, buried them alive. So I know, it's definitely going to be fine. So you don't have to cry anymore. Your life is going to be a lot better now. So let's just move on from this. It really gets that way. Tell me if I'm wrong, comment about this. See if I'm wrong. I want to hear what my Pisces, Cancers, and Scorpios have to say about this rant. Like I said, based on experience, some astrological facts, some planetary movements, because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto, Pisces is ruled by Neptune, and Cancer is ruled by the moon. So these water signs are some very far out, extreme planetary bodies, believe it or not, can be in alignment with each other pretty often throughout the year. So you definitely want to check that out. All right, my lovies. So that's me with my, astrological rant on the water signs here on Universal Spirit Podcast, here on Karma's Eye Psychic LLC. And I will see you in the next episode. All right. I love you. Bye.